All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly membership meeting for November. We're meeting on Monday. We usually meet on Tuesdays because tomorrow's election day and it's going to be a busy day, whether you are voting tomorrow or I know some people are volunteering and things like that. And it's going to be a day. So I thought we'd meet today instead. But next month, our meeting will be back to Tuesday. We'll be meeting on Tuesday, December 3rd at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Our exercise of the month is guided meditation. So this is something that is a great thing to have as part of your wellness routine. Guided meditation and mindfulness is something that can help you reduce stress, which can help you reduce symptoms. And I think a lot of us have good intentions about doing it, but just forget or don't fit it in on any given day. And so we decided like the best way to get in a good routine of trying it and seeing how much better you maybe feel doing it is for it to be our exercise of the month. So it's a unique exercise of the month. Usually there are things that are more physical and challenging that we're getting better throughout the month. And with guided meditation, hopefully you do get better. But what getting better would really mean is just doing it on a regular basis, feeling like you can kind of keep your attention focused on your breathing or your guided meditation, whatever the focus is. So we're going to just hopefully experience the benefits throughout the month. So we will have a couple different ways that we do it. With our online classes, we can play guided meditations from YouTube or from Insight Timer, the app. I have a couple scripts that I have downloaded that are meditations that we can, thank you, that we can read to the class that are different types, a mindful breathing script, a body scan. So we can basically provide those ourselves as well. So we're going to be incorporating that into classes for the most part, probably towards the end of class, but in some cases we might do a meditation in sitting during a Power Moves class. There are even walking meditations that you can do. So we are going to try different types of meditation so you get a chance to experience it on a regular basis. And then if you're finding it to be helpful and enjoyable, then you can start to incorporate that into your daily life. We have a guided meditation each day in our daily emails that if you scroll down below the schedule, there's a link to Insight Timer each day and you can utilize those. The app Insight Timer is my favorite app to use. It's free and they have thousands of guided meditations and you can save the ones that are your favorite. So you can go back to the ones that you enjoy. Because just like anything, exercise with guided meditations, you might like certain types. You might find that there's a length that is right for you. You might want to do one that's shorter. You might like doing them when doing ones that are longer. If I'm using one at night, if I'm feeling particularly kind of stressed or having trouble going to sleep at night, I will listen to a guided meditation. And in that case, I pick a longer one, like 20 to 25 minutes, so that hopefully I'm asleep by the time it's done. Whereas if I'm trying to do a guided meditation during the day, I pick one that's shorter because I want to not fall asleep during it and I want to be awake and utilize the whole thing. So there's all sorts of different factors. Do you like music? Do you like certain people and their voices or their style? So if you hear guided meditation and you don't really like it or find it to be relaxing, that doesn't mean that guided meditation isn't a good thing. It means that you want to find the right ones for you. So we're going to be working on that all month. I will send out the link to my talking about it. I talked about basically what I just said in our video of the exercise of the month. And then we also did 2 guided meditations that were each about 3 to 4 minutes long. One that was a body scan and one that was a breath work meditation. So you get a chance to kind of try them. And if you really like those meditations, what I realized I did not do in the video was say the title of them or say who the person was leading the guided meditation. They were both from Insight Timer. So I will share that as well. But if you like those, they are both pretty brief, but it's a great way to start your day, end your day, take a rest during the day. And I think guided meditation is one of the best things that we could try to incorporate regularly. So hopefully this month will be a good time. And we kind of thought, the holidays is a good time to incorporate this. The holidays can be exciting, but also kind of stressful. And the other thing about it is our student Kate is going to be doing a educational meeting on guided meditation, incorporating that. So that may be motivating as well to hear more of the research about why and how guided meditation is so beneficial. So her presentation is already going to be this week. I've got that on an upcoming slide. Next, research highlight. So Alex recorded another video, and this is talking about how vestibular rehabilitation exercises can be beneficial for people with Parkinson's. So we've been talking about vestibular for the past few months with Alex in research. Vestibular is one of our balance systems that is in our inner ear on each side, and it is gathering information as we move and turn our head and move through space, and that information is getting sent through a nerve into our brain, and then our brain processes that information. So it's very important for balance. And with Parkinson's, there can be increased rates of people experiencing a change in their vestibular system and how it's functioning. It could be related to Parkinson's. You can also have something like an ear infection that affects your vestibular nerve separate from Parkinson's, but could affect your balance. And so it's important, if you are noticing a change in your balance, it's important to have that evaluated by a physical therapist so that they can look and see what systems are related to your balance being good or not so good, and what types of exercises should you do. What this research study showed is that even in people with Parkinson's who did not show an overt change in their vestibular system with testing, still benefited from exercises for the vestibular system. So exercises for the vestibular system are like our VOR exercise that we did 2 months ago, where we had a number or letter and our eyes were focused and we were turning our head side to side while keeping that number or letter in focus. So that is called gaze stabilization, and that can really benefit all of us. But especially if you notice a change in your balance, that's a really good thing to work on. So you can watch this video with Alex. And she also did an educational meeting that is in the video library that went much more in depth into the vestibular system. So if that's something you want to learn more about, that video is available in the video library. She will also probably, she presented for a webinar a few months ago. She will probably also present that meeting, those slides and that information again for one of our educational meetings, so that we have the opportunity to discuss and ask and answer questions as well. But I'll send out the link for this in the daily email coming up as well. If you receive our monthly newsletter, which comes out on the 1st of the month, that is for, it can be for members, but it's also for people who are not members of Rogue, but just for them to see kind of what we're doing, what we're working on, hear about us. So if you receive that monthly email, you already received an email with these links and you could check them out, but I also will put them in our daily emails as well. Then member highlight. This I sent out and I will send it out again. Most of you know Billy, and she was our member highlight a while ago. But we had an update. She has a she shed now that her husband helps her set up, that she has a really great space to exercise. And this is something that is so important, especially when you're exercising from home, is that you really have a good space to do it. If you don't dedicate space, it's going to make it harder to exercise on a regular basis. You want to set up your environment to support you in your goals. And if your goal is to exercise on a regular basis, you really want to dedicate space to that. So this video is awesome just to hear an update from Billy and how well she's doing and see her new she shed. And so I highly recommend watching this video as well. We won't take the time to watch the whole video here in this meeting because I do think it's about 12 minutes. But I do recommend watching it and getting that updated. It might inspire you to think about your space a little bit differently or make some updates in your space and what you have. And one thing I love that Billy has is quotes on the wall. I think for us, they're so powerful. I think all the time about putting more quotes up on our wall. That's something we'll probably do at some point in time. Gail sent us 2 pieces of artwork though, that are inspirational quotes. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So we need to be challenged on a regular basis if we're really trying to get better. And then Gail's other quote was, I think it's life is, oh no, I got to look at it because it's about a TV and a remote, but how you have to get up if you want to change it. It's right over here on the wall so I can look at it. So life has no remote. You have to get up and change it yourself. So I love that quote as well. And that's our artwork back here that's hanging on our wall from Gail. So I highly recommend, if you have some quotes that you find inspiring, print those out, write them out, make it look nice, and post those up in your space, because, that's what's going to help you dig deep and do the hard work on the days where you maybe don't feel like it. Our equipment highlight is Tidal Tank, and we are going to watch this video because it's only 1.5 minutes long. Tidal Tank is a piece of equipment that is pretty portable and inexpensive. That is something that's a good option to have at home if you want to challenge yourself at a high level. It is basically a plastic tube that you put water in. So it is weighted and you're in control of how much water and how much weight it is. It's nice because you can progress and put more water in as you get stronger doing different kinds of exercises. The other thing that's nice is that water sloshes around in the tube. And so it adds a challenge for your balance as well as strength training. So we use Tidal tanks pretty often. We have classes in our video library using the Tidal tanks as well. We don't require them in any of our classes though, because we know not everybody wants to have them. But if you were looking to add a piece of equipment to what you have at home, this is definitely one that I would recommend. So let's watch our members exercise with the Tidal tank. So they're holding it to add some weight, mixing that up with the Blaze Pods, going big sideways up and down a ramp. That is pretty impressive. Walking sideways on the balance beam. Holding it. It's really great if you have kids or grandkids and you want to feel confident picking them up or carrying them around. The Tidal tank is the best substitute for a wiggly kid that there is. Like I said, you're in control, so you can start with having 5 pounds of weight, 10 pounds. He's also standing on an uneven or an unstable surface, so he's getting a balance challenge from the bottom as well. There's one that's a sphere. So you can see it's a sphere instead of a tube. Fun stuff. All right, so important dates. So we will be closed for United States Thanksgiving on Thursday, November 28th, and on Friday for Black Friday. So we take those 2 days off and have a really nice long weekend for all of our team. So we'll be closed those 2 days. Those are the only days in November that will be closed. Next week on Monday is Veterans Day in the US, and we are open on Veterans Day. So we salute our veterans and honor them while exercising. So we'll be open next week on Monday. We're not closed then. Our online women's group will meet next Wednesday, November 13th. We will have a speaker. Alex works with a trainer, and she is going to be coming on and talking about strength training, especially for women and as we age and what's important. So we're excited to have her on and talk about strength training, which is super important. We have an anniversary party that we're going to be doing here at Rogue on November 22nd from 1 to 3 Pacific time. We are definitely going to invite our online members to participate. And what we'll do is we're going to have a lunch. And then we're going to play like a trivia game and do a couple other things. So we'll have a better idea of kind of the timeline, and then say for anybody who wants to join online to play the trivia game and, hear some things about Rogue and our history over the past 5+ years. We definitely want to include our online members. So I will get more details for all of you as we make those details in the next week or so. But as of right now, we know it's going to be from 1 to 3 Pacific time. We'll be having lunch, and it'll probably be like somewhere around 1:30, 1:45 is when we would do the trivia game. And we'll see kind of what else we're doing here and what else would make sense for people to participate from home online. We have 2 educational meetings this month. One is coming up this Thursday, November 7th at 1 p.m. And that is going to be meditation with our physical therapy student, Kate. We will record that meeting. So if you're not able to attend live, you'll be able to watch it later, but it will hopefully really, increase our understanding of meditation and why it's beneficial for us. And it's part of why we're doing it as our exercise of the month, and also part of why we're having her do this educational meeting now. So we can just really learn and be motivated to do this. We also are going to have an educational meeting with Stephanie Callender, our speech therapist who leads class. She will join us November 14th at 2 o'clock. So it's the same time that speech class usually happens because that's what's best for her schedule. But I've asked her to do an educational meeting because it's been a few years. I think the last time she did educational meetings for us was in 2021. She did one on speech and one on swallowing. And what I've asked her to do for this educational meeting is really talk about the speech class that she leads. And over the years, she has added and incorporated more different things into the class. So there's kind of a vocal drill section, there is breath training, there's swallow training, there's facial muscle expression training, there is cognitive training. So I asked her to kind of to do a meeting where she would go through for each of the things that are incorporated into class, why does she incorporate those? Both coming from kind of a research perspective and then also the anecdotal, what do people report being beneficial and helpful? So that is going to be the educational meeting. And this, I think, will be a really great way for any of our new members who are joining to hear more about the speech class and feel comfortable joining it. For anyone who's already in the class, I think by joining, you'd probably hear some different information about the research of why things are included and, what has been beneficial. If you're someone who's super consistent with classes, these are probably going to be things you've heard before. But I know for me, I learn something every time I hear a lecture from Stephanie. And I also think it would be cool for those of you who join on a regular basis to, at the end of the presentation to possibly share, your experience as well. So those are the two educational meetings we'll have this month. Online schedule is staying the same, no changes for this month, other than our monthly meeting happening on a different day. But otherwise, our classes and our instructors are staying the same. The only change will be towards the end of the month. Catherine will be taking over the functional strength training class. Maddie has been doing that for a year, and we decided that would be a fun class for us each to take turns getting a chance to teach, so that there's slightly different exercises and things included in the class, and that all of us kind of get the opportunity to teach it. Because for the most part, the rest of us get to teach, power moves, boxing, HIIT. Everybody kind of gets to teach a few different classes. This is one that's kind of unique in that we only have it one time a week. And prior to Maddie teaching it, it was Al. So none of our other team has gotten a chance to teach that class. Catherine just recently took the MMOA course, which is Modern Management of the Older Adult, that really focuses on strength training. And so since she just took that course, we decided she would be the next one. And she'll probably teach 2 rounds. We do like 8 weeks at a time. So she will probably do 2 8-week sessions. And then we may do another rotation where either I or Jamie or Alex or somebody else teaches. And we'll do a little bit of a rotation to keep things fresh and interesting. So that will happen towards the end of the month, but that is that's really the only schedule change that I can think of or know of. In-person meetings, we have our support group starting tomorrow for people who have Parkinson's, next week for spouses and partners, and then the third week of the month on the 19th for people with Parkinson's and their spouses. We typically have a women's in-person meeting each month, but we will not be having that meeting this month because of the anniversary party. So we're trying to be respectful of people's times. We know it starts to get really busy getting into the holidays. So we will not have the women's group. We'll have our anniversary party in a couple weeks. And then we'll have our in-person women's group in December again. We have reactive balance training and athletic falls training scheduled on the calendar for in-person members. Special event, our 5-year anniversary party. And this is not 5 years of Rogue existing, but this is 5 years of being in this space, which really was a significant change for us. We had rented space in a different location, and we were really limited in what we were able to do and what types of classes we were able to have. And since moving into our space, we have expanded to the online membership and the different kinds of classes and services and different things we're able to offer, hosting courses and things like that. So we're really celebrating 5 years of being here. And, since COVID happened during that time, it's kind of a big deal. So, we want to celebrate. So that is going to be on Friday, November 22nd. Educational meetings. So this month, as I mentioned, and I didn't add it on here, but meditation, then speech. In December, we will have neuropsychology with Dr. Kelsey Holiday joining us on Zoom. And I am still working on, did not hear back from Dr. Crow. Dr. Chen was super busy. So I am working on these other topics. We have a lead for a neurologist focusing on sleep. So I'm going to keep working on these. Dr. Tanya Denny, I think, is available to come in and talk to us about mucinopurines as soon as we have availability. And I'm just trying to balance, bringing you good information and not overwhelming the schedule. So we usually like to have one educational meeting, but in some cases we may have two when we have, two topics that we really want to get to and people are available. We may have two a month in some cases. So are there any other topics that anyone would like to hear about that are not listed here? Anyone? You can let me know if you think of something, just send me an email. If you have an actual speaker who goes along with that topic, if your neurologist does research or specializes in a certain area and would be willing to join us on Zoom, you can always let me know and put us in touch. That has happened a couple times. Otherwise, I'm able usually to find good resources to present on these different topics. And so I will absolutely keep working on that. So that is all I have for this month. I think our online educational meetings is the most important. And then hopefully going through and watching our videos for this month and getting those updates will be great. So now we've got a little more time. We did have some Q&A before I started recording and going through the schedule, but we've got some more time now. Does anyone have any questions about the content or things I shared just now, or things that are unrelated are totally fine to delve into as well? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for anyone who watched the recording. Thanks for watching, but I will stop the recording to open it up for questions.